I think I'm live now. I think I'm live. Are we here? Am I here? Do you see me? Oh my God. Welcome to Crime After Dark headquarters. I'm your host, Lisa, where I struggle with tech issues every single time. Anywho, anywho, we're here now. I hope that I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, I hope that it kept my thumbnail for the live. Hey, Cindy Lou. Cindy Lou commented on my YouTube post earlier, which I'll chat about that also. Because I said this before, but nobody heard me because I wasn't really live. Because we're talking about Derrick, the man who needs no introduction. Don't even have to say his last name. Just say Derrick. And we all know who we're talking about. It wouldn't let me it wouldn't let you comment. That's weird. I wonder why. It might be because you're a mod, but usually it only happens if you're like a super mod. I don't know. Say it like John Lamb, Derrick Callella. I can't do it. I can't do it like John. So, um, it makes you real charming. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's tech stuff, let me tell you. I think I had on, I don't know, I had one thing on that I probably shouldn't have had on, I guess. I don't know. We don't know. So, what was it? Oh, a few interesting things today, in the social media part of things. Mm. Before I started doing this channel, I never really used Twitter. I still call it Twitter. If I'm typing, I say X because it's quicker, less work. But all of the crime, all of the true crime people use it. So there I am using it. Anyhow, one thing I noticed that was interesting today was that Sleuth Intuition posted that he thinks he found the jacket of the porch guy. I don't think he named the company, but he said it's he found it and he had a picture. He said he found it on like a used clothing website. I don't know if he means like Mercari or Poshmark or I don't know. Had the picture and said he ordered one. I think he did name the brand of it though. Um and he said once he gets it, he's going to put it on and do all the things. Sleuth be sleuthin'. And actually Sleuth is in the one well he a picture of Sleuth is in the video. I'm going to share some things. And I almost feel like I need a disclaimer to talk about DC, Derrick. Because as Cindy commented earlier when I shared the screenshots that I had taken, she commented, "Ick." And that's exactly like how I feel when if you really start digging in to Derrick, the one that sent the famous text to Annie and Tommaso, or just Tommaso or whatever, and made that 9-second phone call. Have you received the Bitcoin? We're still waiting on our end. Digging in and sleuthing info about him makes you feel really icky by the time you're done. Now, as far as his music, I'm not gonna hit play on any of that. I was doing it earlier today. Again, I had done it months ago, and I actually watched the info that Sleuth's Intuition, Patrick, dug up on him. Let me tell you what, I I don't even think I think it was a live that he did it on, and I thought, "Okay, I'm gonna kind of see what he's got here." And I started watching and I was like, "Oh my gosh." Now, I don't get it doesn't take, you know, how do I say this? I'm not phased by things. Things don't shock me easily. Um, I love all things like paranormal. I love like horror movies are my favorite movies to watch. Not slasher, not gory, stupid movies, but like psychological thrillers. I love Pennywise the Clown. I'm just weird that way. It's there. Scroll back. The post about the star on that. It's not there, Ashley. Didn't I tell you that? Scroll back through his post. The star is actually it's it it's a shadow from the clip on the backpack. I thought I told you that. Probably not. Um, Referring to Monk's video where he was saying there's a star logo like on the jacket. It's actually like created um from the strap on the back, from the buckle thing, the buckle part. So anyhow, things don't it takes a lot to make me kind of cringe and, you know, have that icky kind of feeling. As far as horror movies, anything with bugs on people or something in their eye or anything, certain things. Sound Certain sounds creep me out. Um, and maybe that's why the music, I cannot his music, I I can't handle it. It like physically makes me cringe. So anyhow, let me start. We're going to start with some chat GPT here just to skim through. Let me let me share my screen and hope that it works. We're going to hope. We're going to hope that it works. It works. I just hope you'll be able to see it on your end. Oh, it's still the title here is not the correct. It's still on my Sheriff Nanos. Still on my Sheriff Nanos video I did. I got to wait a second and see if it I know there's some lag. And anyhow, I wouldn't want to, you know, I don't want to play any music anyway, just because I don't want to get any kind of strike on YouTube for any kind of reason for that, for any kind of sounds, I guess I'll say. Um, okay, it says I'm sharing. Here we go. I knew it would take a second for the lag to catch on here, or catch up, I should say. I've seen 3 that are White Tiger, what do you mean? 3 what? Oh, you mean jackets? Yes, you should see Chat GPT. The Chat GPT is mainly for me. The jackets. Okay, I thought that's what you meant. Oops. Um, let me enlarge it a little. Okay. So who is Derrick Callella? I'm not going to go through this because I'm going to assume that anyone watching this already knows who Derrick is. Um, although I do want to point out one thing about this information here. So he sent the 2 texts and the phone call, which we don't know who he called. He sent the text to Annie and Tommaso, or just Tommaso. Did it say both of them were right here? Okay, it says contacted Annie and Tommaso. The most interesting thing to me about the what occurred after he sent those texts and that phone call, and I don't know, we don't know who he called. We don't know who he called. Who do you guys think he called? And why was that left out of, it was redacted so you couldn't see it in the affidavit. Like who do you think he texted Annie and Tommaso, who do you think he called? That 9-second phone call. Everybody has the same point of view on this. That's who I think he called as well. We got 3 votes for Tommaso so far. But why would they redact that? Because they already have in there that he texted him. So why redact that? You know what I mean? Like, why leave that out and not just say a 9-second phone call? Because then it goes on to say that he was trying to harass Annie. He admitted. I don't want to have to scroll. Because he admitted to harassing Annie. My God, did I pass it already? Probably. I don't know where in the hell. Okay, right here. Well, I don't know. Chat GPT doesn't say. It just says he pleaded guilty. That was July 2nd, as most of us know. So he pleaded guilty to the harassment part. But I thought that I read on that affidavit, and I should have pulled it up for this, but I did not, of course. I thought I read that he said he was harassing Annie. But anyhow, the part that's interesting to me in this thing, this as far as so he sent the text and made the call on February 4th. They went to California and snagged that boy up the next day. The next day. Why? And I ask why because he didn't put a Bitcoin address or anything. He wasn't asking for money. And the fact that he wasn't asking for money, that's the thing I can't, I can't look over that. I can't gloss over that. It would be different if he had the Bitcoin address in there, like the first ransom communication that was sent to the news station. Do you know what I mean? Like, by not putting a Bitcoin address in there, can we assume that Tommaso and Annie knew that he had a Bitcoin address already? Because he didn't say, like, give me X amount of money. He said, have you received the Bitcoin? We're still waiting on our end. Who the hell else is he talking about? Now, I know he was, high on meth at the time, according to what he said, which makes it even stranger to me that he would be following this. He said that, well, I've been following the case. Really? I find that hard to believe. So he follows the case, but Luke Daly didn't follow the case. You know, you know what I'm saying? Like, on one end, we have Derrick who's saying, I followed the case. Uh, and on the other end, we have Luke Daly. Well, I wasn't following it. My mom followed it. She follows it. I don't follow it. Okay. So I just, I, they went and got him so fast, snatched him up from California. I think that's, um, I think that's odd for what he said. I know that he texted them. I know that he called them, but it still seems over the top for the FBI to do that, unless there's more to it than that. So we know that he contacted Annie and Tommaso. He referred to the Bitcoin. He said, did you get the Bitcoin? We're waiting on our end for the transaction. And then the phone call, which we don't know who that was to. We don't know. The phone call was 9 seconds. And of course, they traced it to Derrick because he's a dummy and uses actual Gmail address instead of a fake one that he had made up. He just uses regular Gmail address with his name on it. Not the sharpest tool in the shed, are you, Derrick? So we might know. So they identified him by the VoIP telephone number that he used, his email address, and the IP address, and digital information connecting that to his residence. Now notice it says they found him with an IP address, which by the way they have for those ransom notes 1 and 2. Just gonna throw that out there. And actually, Karen McDonough talked about that recently. So he admitted to 2 counts of harassment using a telecommunications device. Um, he said he knew that an earlier ransom demand had been made. Does anybody remember what time he texted them? Because I was just talking about this in my video I just did about Sheriff Danos, talking to Ashley Banfield on February 2nd. Oh, no, that would have been the first ransom note. He would have been talking about the second one. I was trying to remember what time he actually sent those. So, what information was he trying to get? That he said what he said, what he admitted to, his actions were intended to harass the family while seeking information about the investigation. What? He intended to harass the family while seeking information about the investigation. What? That doesn't make any sense. So by sending 2 text messages saying, "Have you received the Bitcoin?" That was his way of finding out information about the investigation? It doesn't make sense. You wanna find out information about the investigation, turn on the freaking news, because at the time, it was all over the news, mainstream news, plus all the YouTubers. That it doesn't make sense. I guess we have to remember that he was high on meth at the time, according to him. We don't know if that's true either. Just saying. So here, like it says, what information was he trying to get? He admitted, to what he did, but it doesn't answer every question about what he wanted to learn or why he selected these particular family members. So why contact Tommaso? He said he obtained the information online. This question here, did Callella know who Tommaso was before Nancy disappeared? Had he ever communicated with Tommaso before February 4th? Well, I believe that he already knew both of them before February 4th. From that band scene, and I say this because my brother-in-law has a band, and they go to bars where they do, events, whatever. He knows other people, other bands. other musicians because they go to the same bars to play. And that's how they meet each other, and that's how they know each other. Now, I'm not saying they're best friends, you know, it's not like they're best friends, but I do feel that they know each other and that they already knew each other. Because and I don't know, I mean, is it possible there's other stuff that he said besides like, he didn't even say, "Hey, it's Derrick. Hey, it's the secret mutilator. Have have you received the Bitcoin yet?" You know what I mean? Like, he didn't even say like, "Hey, it's so and so." If he did say that, anything like that, they don't have that in the affidavit. Um, yeah, he didn't need to introduce or say, "Oh, hey, this is so and so," because Tommaso already knew. If Tommaso already had his phone number, he wouldn't have to like say, "Hey, it's me. The boss is here. Everybody give it up for the Mad Dasher 420. Check out his YouTube channel where he live door dashes all the time." Um, are you playing this in your live, MD? I can look at my phone and see if he is. All right. Just wondering. Just wondering after what you asked me before I went live. Um, I just don't want people, I don't want to do it like I did with the tarot channel because if they're not into like true crime, I just, you know what I mean. Um, anyhow. So, I mean, I think Derek knew Tommaso before the 4th from the band scene, okay? Now, it says there's currently no established evidence that Callella and Tommaso had a personal relationship before these communications. Cue Derrick Callella, the secret mutilator. Now, this says he reportedly had a musical identity under the name Secret Mutilator. Oh, and I don't have the other. Let me pull up that. Let me pull up my post from earlier. I lost it when I had to mess around with the live, of course, when I started. All right. Share this tab. Okay. This is this is the post that I posted it this morning. He has 2 YouTube channels. 2. This isn't this one under his actual name. And there's some numbers after that. I think it's like 446 something. I don't know. But it has his actual name there. Now, this is the description he has. Kloss Barbie, exploiter, sinner, destroyer, hideous hair. Well, that one is correct. That's correct, Derek, because you do have hideous hair. Obscene, violent, young, death, destructive, clown. I've seen him choke on confetti. Ren Flowers reviews. Then it says booking live, and it gives mhm, the email. Klaus Barbie is Derrick Death of Secret Mutilator. Klaus Barbie music is the dark cold wave that couldn't make it to Secret Mutilator. I don't. Okay. So here's the video, which is just a screenshot. So thank God even if I click this, it doesn't work. It won't work. This was from I don't remember the date on it. Was it? It might have been 2020, maybe before that. The man has a blow up doll right here as this was like a live stream or like a clip. It says it's only 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes long. But this comment that was left on this video is from 6 months ago. And the comment says, Nancy baby. Nancy baby from 6 months ago. So who the hell is that person, and what do they mean by that? And someone actually replied to this person and asked, "What do you mean by that comment?" Now I actually looked up this username, Pine Mountain Club Balishka. It's a place in California. Like a resort kind of place. Cindy Lou's going, "Why are you subjecting me? Why are you subjecting me to this again?" Okay. All right, so now I'm going to go to this video by Monk's Intrigue. We all love some Monk's Intrigue. And Monks, why are you buffering? Okay. So you've probably seen this. Let's see. What is the date on this? 5 months ago. So it's an older video. Monks, go ahead. 123,000 views on this video. This man is the bombshell connection that strengthens our catch-22 theory. Look, he's buffering. I found this on the web. No, Siri's talking to me. I'm not talking to you, Siri. What did Siri find for me on the web? Oh, it went away. Okay. That was weird. Monks is buffering. But Monks was talking about one of his other videos, he was talking about Derrick and the catch-22. You know, because if he is involved with the abduction, and so let's say he's singing like a canary to the FBI. If he does that, he'll throw himself under the bus. So it's a catch-22 because what's he going to do? So anyway, Monks, you know, it reminds me of myself because you get these questions in your head, and then you start thinking and wondering and looking stuff up and digging and, that kind of thing. So he was trying to find what he was trying to do is just like I've been trying to do with Luke Daly. He was trying to do it with Derrick. He wanted to find a connection between Derrick and Tommaso. So he started digging, which led him to sleuth intuition. Hopefully this plays. It's like buffering here. I have it right up on this. So there's sleuth. Oh, look, he's got them all here. Sleuth had them all up on his his live stream. Derrick on the right, Luke on the left. He's even got the what was her name? Kiki, and whatever her man's name is, in this picture. That was from when they were at Nancy's, being completely disrespectful and gross. So let me play some of this where Monks talks about what Sleuth has.
So this man Sleuth put up a screenshot of some dates. Now it's blur vision, but it's basically this flyer right here that those dates coincide with. And this flyer is in front of our faces because of this. Now Sleuth was also able to connect that man named Mijito to Kyla Noel, which of course is connected to Luke Daly in some strange way that he won't admit.
I like how he says Kyla. And you guys know who oh my god, I'm having a mental blank. You all know who Mojito is, the DJ. Mojito's the DJ that does these events in Tucson and other areas. You've never seen that one, Ashley? The one that's actually kind of scary to watch is the one that Sleuth did. I think I actually, when I watched that Sleuth Intuition, when I was watching like the replay of that live, I think I mentioned it to you that day because I was like, oh my God, I'm trying to watch this replay of his live and I was having a hard time watching it. That's how bad that's how like icky what he was showing was. Okay, so let me continue here.
And I'm telling you, Sleuth Intuitions has a very compelling angle to all of this. His thoughts are very interesting. The link to his video, because he'll tell you better, is in the description below, and I encourage you guys to go watch it. Let him tell you for himself. Give him a subscription because he deserves it. Now, there is another bombshell that I am about to drop on you. So hold on to your britches, because if you haven't noticed, I can be a little obsessive when I'm into something. And Sleuth Intuition gave me a big piece of this puzzle, and I was determined to find that other missing plot hole in my Callella theory, Catch 22. Now, for those that have not realized why I called it Catch 22, because there were a lot of comments that I could tell that they were a bit confused. And that's because Callella is in a no-win situation, which is a Catch 22, right? He's already been caught calling Tommaso and Annie for that Bitcoin, and he's going to jail with no Bitcoin. If Tommaso is involved and does owe Callella a Bitcoin, Callella can't even tell the police about it because that would just implicate him in the Nancy Guthrie case. So all he can do is shut up and take the lesser of two accusations. Catch 22. So if my eyes are not bloodshot red today, I feel that is a win because I stayed up way past my bedtime scroll.
Okay, prepare yourself. Prepare yourself for what you're about to see. Which isn't even as bad as what Sleuth has shared. If you really want to like get into the nitty-gritty of all of it, then check out, you can go and watch this video that Monks did. He said he linked the Sleuth link in there. I mean, it's difficult. I'm gonna say it was difficult. So anyway, here we go. Let's do this.
Scrolling through 3 different Instagrams throughout almost a decade of just posts that I never ever wanted to see in my life.
There's
just to
Mojito.
find those flyers that I showed you. But if my eyes were bleeding, the bombshell that I'm about to tell you is all worth it. Now, let's go ahead and meet Mr. Mojito so that it could all make sense, okay? So I scrolled all the way from present day Mojito, the goth DJ that you see before you, all the way back to a much simpler time when he was just a fresh faced lad who was discovering himself like we all did. And it looks like he has some interests in photography. Then I came across the first DJ Mojito flyer right here, October 20th of 2017, called The Ritual Witches Ball. And there's his name right there. And this definitely was his debut into this space. And this was all happening at the new House of Rituals, the Flycatcher. The Flycatcher, I will say, is a pretty awesome name for a bar, club, whatever this place is, until you start to think about, in context, of what it's being used for. In their own flyers, they are advertising goth, witches, which I will assume are the catchers. So who are the flies? So from this, we already know, right? Derrick Callella and Mojito have known each other at least since 2021. I feel we could safely assume they know each other. If anything, Mojito is a promoter, right? So he's most likely promoting Callella's music as well. Now, I will urge you to watch or rewatch Catch 22 in my video catalog to really understand the theory that I had laid out.
There, of course, is Derrick all cleaned up coming out of court. Coming out of the federal courthouse. You've never heard of Mojito, Ashley? Yeah, Cindy, I like how I like how his brain works. I like how he thinks. Um, I get obsessed, like when he said I get obsessed. I'm the same way. When something hits me or whatever, and I'm trying to, ask myself questions like, I wonder why that happened, or I wonder why they did that, or um I get kind of obsessed until I find it. Like when I was looking to see if Luke Daly was left-handed or not. And I thought, okay, I got to scroll through some pictures. Now, but it's funny how everybody is kind of the way they do things, like the way monks the way his brain does things, like the way that he presents everything is kind of cool. Um, and then you have like the super sleuthers, like sleuth intuition, the people that really, you know, they're like way down the rabbit holes. You know what I mean? They are digging and, there's sometimes I'm like, how did they even find this stuff? Like I can find some stuff if I look around, um, but they're like to the extreme of what they find. Like it amazes me what they find. Like, and then you have like Juanita, the one that did posted the dispatch, the scanner traffic. Um, yeah, it's fascinating how everybody's so different. Okay, so there we got dressed up Derrick. I will admit, when I saw this, the first time I saw him dressed like this, um, I wondered. I thought, could he be Porch guy? I mean, he lives in California, and I think I actually looked up how many hours it is from Hawthorne to Tucson. I think it was like 11 hours. So, you know, it's not impossible, that's for sure, for him to travel to Tucson. If he's done it for different gigs and stuff, music gigs and, all of these witches ball and everything, whatever else he's, wherever he's been.
About Callella and his possible motives. And the main connection I felt needed to be in play is the connection with Tommaso and Annie to a certain extent, because both of those people were texted directly by Callella. It will make what I'm about to show you that much more impactful. Okay. So the Flycatcher is a club which in 2017 is labeling themselves as the new house of rituals. In Sleuth Intuition's video, he digs into that culture that is associated with mojito, which is simply satanic. Okay.
Yes, it
They are
is.
Satan worshipers. So, by their very own text and what they want to be known as, the Flycatcher is a satanic house of rituals in 2017. Now, look at these tour dates. November 12th, 2017, The Flycatcher. August 10, 2017, The Flycatcher. July 14, The Flycatcher. This is the schedule of a little known band in Tucson called Early Black.
Early Black,
And
folks.
this schedule is wrapped around Mojito's DJing debut. So Tommaso Cioni's band played at the self-proclaimed new house of rituals 3 times in 2017 while DJ Mojito was there. And there lies the final connection from Callella to Mojito, from Mojito to Early Black. The plot hole in my Catch 22 theory, I feel, is no more. I said in that video that if Callella is connected to the crime, then in my opinion, Tommaso is not far behind. How about just one more for the road? Okay. In my delving into these crazy Instagram pages. So to end 2017, Mojito DJ'd at the Surly Wench pub. Do you think he got a referral from Early Black, who played there in 2011, right? Who knows? Okay. I want to end the video by saying much love to Concepts in Health. Without you, I would have never.
So actually, um, okay, I'm gonna go to his page because I don't remember if I saw it on. I don't remember if I saw it on YouTube or Facebook. Because Derrick's even on Facebook. So this is Derrick's other YouTube channel. Secret Mutilator. And look at what he's got up at the top. I mean, it says Satan right at the top. I don't know what those other words are. I don't know. But he did have. Now, see, I was in his YouTube channel earlier, and let me, like, after a few minutes of like looking, that's when I get like, it makes me cringe. So he doesn't have any posts. Um, that's his own, he's got his playlist, releases. Like even the names of you know, even the names that he has. He doesn't have any lives on here. He's got the videos. This one, so the newest are from 9 months ago. And right here, there's an upside down cross. If you know, you know. This one here is interesting. I don't want to click on it because I don't want any of this stuff to play. But if you look like just this picture, like I wish I could. Let me see if I can. Oh, I didn't want a new link. I just wanted, it's going to be too small. Oh, there we go. Like this picture here is disturbing to me. See, now Ashley's going, ew. Oh, is that what it means? Both words mean that, Ashley, or like which word? The whole phrase? Now I understand oh Lord. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying now. There's that weird YouTube symbol again. I was seeing that yesterday when I was in Mad Dasher's live. I was like, "What is that? What is that weird symbol?" I was like, all I did was say hello to somebody. What is that thing? It kept showing up. It's really weird looking. Um, so yeah, I mean it's very disturbing. Now I understand that there goes my voice. I understand that, you know, what tab am I sharing now? I don't even know. I got so much stuff. Oh, I'm not sharing anything. Um I understand that you know, people that have bands and you know, even like famous singers and bands and whatever. I know they have their identity and all of that. But this stuff here, it's like on another level to me, in my opinion. Um, if you ever want to be brave enough to go into his YouTube channel, and this is him here. Um, there's some really bad, like some of these live events here, like this says Walls of Poland, and I think there are some where he is actually in other countries. See, look right here. Death is a Language live on Club X with DJ Mojito. There's that again, that phrase on this one. This is 5 years ago. Now, I don't think it's in here, so it must be on, because he's even got a Facebook page. Um, and it was a post for New Year's Eve. It was a New Year's Eve thing just from last New Year's Eve. And I can't get into my Facebook from this. I'm on my computer. And um there were some weird like posts and videos and things in there when I was looking earlier today. The names of the songs, even uh these, I don't know, what are they called again? Um like the get-togethers that they have at Club Congress in Tucson. Oh my gosh. Oh, I don't know if you guys heard any of that. One of his songs started to play. Um, okay, I gotta stop sharing because I'm starting to get the ickies. Ugh. It just like after a few minutes I start to cringe. Let me go back to sharing my chat GPT. Hold on. Hold on. I'm gonna go back to this. Um Whew, much better. So, you know, Tommaso was associated with early black, we know that, and, I was just trying to show the connection. Um, Sleuth's intuition, he showed a lot of stuff on his live about Derrick and the connection to Tommaso and DJ Mojito. They just they just recently, it was over the weekend, they had a get together at Club Congress and Sleuth was there. He was there during the day. He had t-shirts with the porch guy on the t-shirt, and he had a table set up, and he was supposed to go back at night. I don't know if he ever did. I looked when he was supposed to be on at night and he wasn't on, so um yeah, they just had one of those at Club Congress. It's in that old like hotel Congress. The club is inside the hotel, from what I gather. Mhm. Ashley, be glad you did not hear it because, ugh. Um, so I find it hard to believe that Derrick doesn't know Tommaso. It's just too much of a, of a supposed coincidence. Derrick said he didn't know him. I just looked him up online, blah, blah, blah. I don't believe that. Um, and Sleuth connected a bunch of them together in his when he did the live on that. It was crazy. Like he had Kayla in there, Kayla Day connected. He had the girl Kiki that showed up at Nancy's that was in that screenshot of his live because they were in like different videos and pictures and just um and when they're at those events, it's literally like I don't know how to say it without, you know, like this. So the stuff that they're doing in public, basically, like they're at a club, but it's that's the public. Do you know what I'm saying? Like the stuff that they do in there. When Sleuth was showing it, that's when I was like, oh gosh, it's really bad. Like it's really bad. It's really bad. So now I will say, okay, let's do hypothetical stuff here. Let's not cast aspersions, okay? As Dr. Gary would say. Let's say that Annie and Tommaso are in that whole, freak scene. I'll just call it the freak scene. Um, I don't know if they would still be in that scene because now, um, they have a son. So I don't know. Like, does anybody know if they still congregate in that circle? I mean, there's really no way to know for sure unless someone nabs a picture of them somewhere, but they've been, MIA for months, so I doubt that would happen. So then we have okay, so it's the music scene question, um, which we just went over. So there's some overlap possibilities. Same bands, same musicians, same venues, same concert dates, promoters, producers, photographers, social media, online music communities, Tucson area performances. We know those are there. Other mutual acquaintances, in an overlap, no, it does not establish involvement in Nancy Guthrie's disappearance. So this is saying connection does not equal involvement. Um, they're both, Derrick and Tommaso both connected to Tucson music scene. Um, fact, Derrick contacted Tommaso in the text, and he pleaded guilty to the harassment charges. Not established that they knew each other before February 2026. I'm saying that they probably did. Now, see, it says, he was. Still find it hard to believe that he was following the Nancy Guthrie case. I don't know. I just don't believe that he was following the Nancy Guthrie case. Then we've got the 9-second phone call to whoever we don't know. We think we know. We think we know, but we don't know. It's just all very. It's just bizarre. It's just all so bizarre to me. So, like, who did he call? Did the person answer the phone? Here goes. What I would like to know is, so this was February 4th. So he made the call on the 4th. Okay. What my question is, and somebody asked this in Courtney's Crime Crunchies chat earlier. Maybe it was Cindy. I don't remember who it was. I'd like to know, did the FBI have Annie and Tommaso's phone when Derrick called? Like, or did they have their phones? Because it seems like they would have already taken their phones like as a natural part of the investigation. Because this was on February 4th. Like, I know they didn't take the mats and didn't do, things that we all think they should have done. But it's safe to assume they probably took their phones. Then again, maybe not. We don't know. We don't know. Because I would like to know, like, did they have their phones at that time and when he called and texted, or did the FBI? Because if the FBI has your phone, I'm assuming, well, I don't know. I don't know how that works. I don't know how all of that, when they get the data off the phones, I don't know how long that takes. If they just like suck data off their phones and then just gave their phones back, like, oh, here we sucked all the data from your phones. Here you go. Can have it back now. Um, but I've always wondered that, like, where were their phones when they got the text messages? I don't I don't think, like, some people think Savannah got the phone call. I don't know. I mean, and some people think like their son got it. I don't think there's I'm pretty sure that their sons, if he has a cell phone at his age, I'm pretty sure it wouldn't be, like, publicly available, you wouldn't think? I don't know. I don't know. But I would like to know these questions, like, did somebody answer? Who answered? What was said? What did he say? What was said in that 9-second call? Curious minds wanna know. And why did he make the phone call if he had just got done texting? I don't know. And Juanita, Adame, I say that every time. She's been talking about and wondering if, Derrick did the other, sent the other 2, ransom communications. In my opinion, I don't think he did. I don't think he did. Yeah, so, like, why did he choose Nancy Guthrie's case? While he was just, sitting around, supposedly watching information about the case, being high on meth. Um, I just don't I just don't that explanation doesn't work for me. Now, it is I'm pretty sure it's a fact, or I don't know, maybe it's not a fact, that he got in trouble before for, trying to get money from unemployment while he was still working, and there were other people involved. So it does seem to be like Derek's thing, so to speak, of his method for trying to get money. But again, he didn't say, "Give me some Bitcoin." He asked them, "Have you received the Bitcoin?" Let me go back to monks for a minute. Um, I'm gonna play monks for a second. I gotta step away for a second. What am I stopping my video? Okay. Mm, I'm gonna backtrack a little. Oh, not yet, monks. Not yet, monks. I'll go back closer to the beginning here. Oh my god. Ad. This isn't the account that I don't have to. Okay.
Take a good gander at this Instagram flyer from September 14 of 2021. I want you to notice this little band here called Secret Mutilator. Now, they're a local band in California, and on this night, they are performing in downtown Los Angeles. Okay, now let's move on to March 27 of 2022. Secret Mutilator, they're the headliners now, and they're appearing in Los Angeles. Now, let's pull up the last one, okay? And this is almost 5 months to the day. Secret Mutilator is now playing in the Royal Room on August 26th of 2022. However, the Royal Room is in Tucson, Arizona. Where has that rung a bell before? For a lot of you, please pick up your jaws from off the floor. And for the rest of you that might not know the punchline, Secret Mutilator is Derrick Callella's band. I don't know if it's a band or if it's just Derrick Callella. I usually only see him, which simply means that it directly ties him to Tucson. And now for the even more astute detectives out there. Okay, this is a class. There is something else on these flyers that they have in common. Pause if you'd like to exercise your sleuthiness. Who is this gentleman here named Mijito? Turns out that he's a DJ and a promoter for the scene of all these hashtags right here. We're going to use him as somewhat of a conduit, okay? If you don't know what a conduit is, just look it up like I did. I couldn't have found these beautiful flyers if it wasn't for this lovely Yorkie named Concepts in Health, which proves to all of us once and for all that animal lovers are just a tad better than everyone else. Hey, Monk, please check out Sleuth Intuition's latest video on Derrick Callella. Sleuth made some fascinating links, not only tying Callella to Tucson, and here I want to apologize to you because I had already mentally checked out Concepts in Health because you had me at tying Callella to Tucson. As you can see by my response, I was scared to be let down, but I went and I watched Mr. Sleuth Intuition, and boy, I'm telling you, you did not disappoint me at all, okay? Your video was exactly what I needed to fall right back in to the Callella rabbit hole. So this man Sleuth put up a screenshot of some dates. Now, it's blur vision, but it's basically this flyer right here.
That we see on. Oh, not her, please. I'm back. I had to go to the bathroom, people. Not her. I just want to get a hold of that woman's hair and cut it off. Just saying. I just want to cut it off. Okay. Where was I? Stop sharing her, please. All right. So is the comparison of what we know and what we don't know. So we know that he contacted Annie and Tommaso. This is okay. He made the phone call. He referenced Bitcoin, but there was no Bitcoin address in there. They traced the communication. So he was arrested February 5th, which was the next day after he sent those text messages and made the phone call. Then pleaded guilty July 2nd. So he changed, of course, he changed his plea. Hey, Jasmine. I'm throwing some hearts for that comment. I'm throwing some hearts for that comment, Jasmine. That was a good one. That was a good comment. I like that. um okay. The thing that's certain things stick out to me. They don't. DLR doesn't look right. The fact that they went and picked this man up literally the next day. You know, here it says he's not been established as Nancy's abductor. Prosecutors say he was seeking information. I still think that's weird. What kind of information are you seeking by asking someone if they received the Bitcoin yet? What kind of information about the investigation is that going to, you know, I just, it doesn't make sense for me. It doesn't fit anywhere. And then given the fact of how he seemed to get away with what he did, because in that press conference where Nanos had the feds behind him, which was on the 3rd. It was the 3rd when they did that press conference. The one FBI agent said he was talking about the notes, the ransom notes, He said anybody doing any communications of this nature will be prosecuted to the extent of the law. And then Derrick gets a slap on the wrist. Now we still have to wait for September 10th. And it's coming fast. First we got to get through Luke Daly on the 18th. There's another one. Um so I personally feel that Derrick does know something. Like, I don't think that, okay, 'cause let's say he does know something. Let's say he is involved in some way. Now, in the beginning, when I first heard about Derrick, sending this text messages, I thought, I thought maybe he did that because the timing of it is strange to me. See, that's what I was wondering, Jasmine. I was just talking about that. Like who had their phones when that phone call came in, when the text messages, came in. Did Annie and Tommaso have their phones, or did the FBI have their phones? That's like one question that they haven't. We don't know. The thing I'm always saying when I'm doing these lives or videos, we don't know. Wait, where is it? It just, I don't know. None of it makes sense to me. It won't let me. We don't know. So, like Monk said, if he was involved and he throws Annie and Tommaso under the bus, then he throws himself under the bus as well. But I do think it's interesting that, the FBI agent said, we're going to prosecute these people. And then he seems to have gotten a slap on the wrist. Go to rehab. Come back in September. It just, it just seems like, there's more to it than that. Now, the timing of when he sent those texts, because that was February 4th is when he sent those. Um, And that was around the same time when Ashley Banfield came out and said, "My source is telling me that Tommaso is the prime suspect or possible suspect." So in the beginning, I kind of thought, well, maybe Derrick did that to create a distraction away from Tommaso, because people were, suspecting him because of Ashley Banfield's video. But I think the suspicion of Annie and Tommaso it's gotten worse since then. Like right now, there's way more people like as far as what I've seen on YouTube in the live chats and stuff, there's so many people that suspect them now. And I think it's just because they've been hiding. So I don't think it's a good idea when you're hiding. Um, and then we've got, everything Savannah's doing, you know, um, about, against YouTubers and trying to get everybody out of Nancy's neighborhood. But I think just the fact that there is that connection with the band scene to Tucson. Um, I don't believe in coincidence like that. I don't. And I just don't think that someone high on drugs is going to be following the abduction of an 84-year-old woman. Why would they? Um, it doesn't fit for me. Um, like Chris on the interview room has always said, it's an anomaly. But even if, let's say Derrick is involved and he was telling the FBI, everything he knows, I'm pretty sure that we wouldn't know that. Do you know, like they would not come out and tell us that. I can't imagine the FBI saying like, "Hey, Derrick Callella told us that the family's involved and blah blah blah." They're not going to do that, because they don't work that way. They just go and arrest people, and after they want to make sure that they're going to have that success rate because they have what 90% success rate. That's why they do everything behind the scenes, and you don't know. You think nothing's going on, and then all of a sudden one day you hear that someone's been arrested. We're all waiting for that day. It's safe to assume. It just same thing with Luke Daly. Um, I definitely think that he's involved. It just I think Luke Daly was I think he's the porch guy. Derrick Callella, I even um there's times where I thought, well, maybe he's the porch guy. And of course, I look at all their facial features and, that type of thing. Um, but he seems, I don't know. I'm not sure exactly how tall he is, how tall Derrick is, but he seems a bit too tall and a little bit too skinny for me. But people, we're all wondering, like, well, did they send him to get sober so he can testify against Annie and Tommaso, like wanting to make sure that, you know, that what he will say, he will be sober while he's saying it. Yeah, we don't know, but we want to know. Will we ever know? There's days where I really doubt that. So we don't know how he obtained their information. We know he said that he like found it online. Um I personally think he already had their info. We don't know like what he was, supposedly trying to find out. The purpose of the call. I wish they would have put that in there. And that's the other question. Why didn't they put in the affidavit what he said when he called? And what the other person said? Or if it was maybe it was just a voicemail. Was it a voicemail? Did he leave like a 9-second voicemail for the person? I mean, they said phone call, but a voicemail, that's a phone call. I don't think he called Savannah because there's no way in hell he'd get a number for Savannah. That's like virtually impossible. Yeah, I'm just gonna call up Savannah. No. Mm-mm. Nope. Yeah, the phone call would show. So if this was just a simple, oh, Derek's a nothing burger. He's just trying to get some money. Just trying to harass the family. Then why are those certain parts omitted from the document? Why not just show all of it? You know, if there's nothing to it, then why are you hiding parts of it and not other parts of it? See, because he did, you know, he said he changed his plea to guilty for the harassment, not for the other charge. Um, but this, the prosecutors say he was seeking information. I don't believe that. I wonder if he had to submit DNA. Like, do you guys think they would have asked him to submit DNA just to get his DNA? I mean, I don't know. If they thought he was involved, you would think they'd get a DNA sample. But they're saying, like, "No, he was just after he was just harassing the family." Just like with Luke Daly, they he got a subpoena to submit his DNA. By the time he goes to court on August 18th, that is 6 days from today. Um, because apparently they didn't get his DNA before. And somebody said Carlos gave his DNA, when they did the raid at his house and stuff, but that Luke Daly refused. And I thought, well, how would somebody know that he refused? But he must have refused if they're asking for it now. Because for a drug charge and weapons, they wouldn't need his DNA. He was in the car with Kayla Day where the drugs and the weapons were. Why would they wouldn't need his DNA for that. Why like, dude, it was all in your car. It's all your DNA in the car. It what? Another weird thing that's sticks out to me. These things just like kind of it's like somebody's putting up a sticky note. Weird. Doesn't look right. Doesn't make sense. None of this makes sense. Um, look at what chat look at what Chat GPT put. The facts are interesting. The questions are legitimate, but where the evidence ends, we don't know. We we don't know. Um, there's just so many. The craziness of this case. It just blows my mind. See, it says here, Department of Justice. Um, so the transmitting a demand for ransom. Oops, let me share this tab. Um, now I lost where it is. Where's it at? A demand for ransom, interstate commerce, and without disclosing his identity. Utilizing a telecommunications device with intent to abuse, threaten, or harass a person. Now, see, this makes no sense to me. This is from the United States Attorney's Office, District of Arizona. Um, where'd it go now? Now I lost it again. Intent to abuse, threaten, or harass. How in the hell is asking a question harassing someone? Like, have you received the Bitcoin yet? We're still waiting on our end for the transaction. How is that a harassment? I can't I can't figure out how that was a harassment. It's just a damn question. Unless the only thing I can think of for that, why they would say that is the phone call because we don't know what he said in the phone call. It was okay, through the course of the investigation, it was found that Callella was acting as an imposter. Well, then who was he impersonating? So I take that as he's pretending to be someone who was involved in they had to have thought he was um pretending to be the person who wrote the first ransom note. Because otherwise, who would he be impersonating? Who would they think they're saying he was acting as an imposter? That doesn't make sense to me. The hell was he impersonating? I don't know. I don't know. The attorney's office and FBI will continue to hold this defendant accountable. Doesn't really seem like you have. It doesn't seem like you have done that. I don't know, just my opinion. Not with the sentence that he got there. Going to rehab. The only other thing I can think of in all of it. So I'm talking about the whole entire investigation and people now especially because I do believe it's gotten worse, the suspicions of the family if they're not involved, then it wasn't just someone trying to make it look like they're involved, meaning Annie and Tommaso. But now also with Derrick Callella, um, by him changing his plea to guilty, then that meant that Annie and Tommaso did not have to like testify and say anything about him. Otherwise, they said they would have been because they're the ones he was harassing. So they would have had to go to court, etc. So what happened between February when they arrested him and he said he wasn't guilty to July 2nd when he changed and said he was guilty? What did they tell him? Like, okay, if you do this, then we'll just send you to rehab for a little while. That'll be it. Because he knew ahead of time. Someone said that the plea deal that he got, it's the plea deal where like you already know when you're going in what your punishment is, what they're going to tell you, the punishment, etc. And that specific deal that they gave him is rare. I'm not going to name my source for that information. But it's somebody that knows how this stuff works because they've experienced it. Um, Someone got arrested for indecent exposure. Um, Here's the other. This one, oh, this is from July 2nd. So sentencing is scheduled for September 10th. A conviction for harassment using a telecommunication device carries a maximum penalty of 2 years imprisonment, a $250,000 fine, or both, and 1 year of supervised release. So yeah, there's definitely a deal there. He made a deal. Um, I think there's more to it than that. I think there's more to it than that, and I wish I knew, of course I don't, what happened between when he was arrested and that, when he pleaded guilty. What prompted that? Was that did that just come from them, the prosecutors, or was it the family saying, "Hey, you know, can you um do this so we don't have to go to trial?" So you think Tommaso played Derrick? I don't know. There's just so much stuff happening with this case. Um that it's crazy. I have no other word for it other than crazy. So anyway, if any of you want to dig further into Derrick, if you want to take a walk on the wild side, actually it's more than that. If you want to feel a little cringy, a little grossed out, little icky, then go on and find Monk's video that I showed you and then head on over to Sleuth Intuition to the to the live that he did about it. It's very if you haven't seen the stuff that Sleuth did and you plan on checking it out, I'm just gonna little disclaimer. It is very disturbing stuff. It is stuff that has been seen in horror movies. It's just horrible. Yeah, it just makes you feel icky. And really I don't have um see, horror movies are my favorite. Like I love horror movies. Horror movies are my jam. I love Halloween. It's my second favorite holiday. You know, like the whole month of October, I binge watch horror movies nonstop. So, not like I said, I'm not into gory horror movies because I think they're pointless. Like the slasher, well, except for Michael Myers, I love him. Um, Christmas is my favorite holiday. Christmas is my favorite holiday, and then Halloween is second. I like the lights at Christmas time, and it's yeah. Um, the cheesy Hallmark Christmas movies, yeah, all that stuff. But Halloween, I just love Halloween. So, like I said, horror movies don't bother me. I don't watch like I don't like the pointless like zombie movies. I just think they're the stupidest things. Like it's just a bunch of zombies going after people. There's no plot to the damn movie. Like I have to something needs to keep my interest. Um so things don't I'm used to watching. See, I'm not into alien stuff. Uh my friend that was in here before, the Mad Dasher, he likes the alien stuff. I've never really been into the aliens and um but my favorite is like psychological thrillers. Um but horror movies don't bother me, you know. I can see most stuff in horror movies doesn't bother me. There's only like I said, bugs going in people's ears. That's like, oh, that's there's certain things. Bugs and then creepy sounds get to me because I'm pretty sensitive when it comes to sounds. I don't like I don't like loud noise, number 1, but there's certain sounds that really like they physically make me cringe. There's one movie, oh lord, it's the one with Ethan Hawke. Um, God, I'm having a mental fog again. Anyway, there's really weird sounds. The way the soundtrack on those 2 movies, there's 2 of them, the first one, the second one, they're just weird sounds. I can't even explain. The same kind of sounds I hear, like, with the Secret Mutilator stuff. It's that techno, dark wave, whatever the hell dark wave means. I know it's dark, but, um Ashley, don't I don't wanna have nightmares about bugs coming out of my ears either. Bugs and, stuff with people's eyes. If something happens to somebody's eyes, can't handle it. So there's only like I would rather see someone's head getting chopped off. I can handle I'm gonna get this live is gonna get taken down from all the stuff I've been saying in this live. Um, I would I have no problem with chop someone's head off, whatever. Doesn't bother me. But certain the bugs, things in people's eyes, like some of the stuff in the Final Destination movies, those will give you some nightmares. They have literally every fear you can possibly think of in those movies. Roller coasters, car accidents, you know, getting killed by flying objects. It's like literally every nightmare scenario come to life. So that the stuff doesn't bother me. Um but the sounds and the fact that, Derrick, like Monk said, it's some really scary stuff those people are into. That music, I don't that music is I can't handle it because the sounds in there, it's the techno stuff, okay, whatever. But there's other sounds mixed in with that make me cringe physically. Like I have a physical reaction like oh, can't do it. Um my brother-in-law's band, he's like heavy metal stuff. Uh I can't do the heavy metal music either. So when they have shows, I don't go. Long time ago I went to actually I was pregnant. That was a really long time ago. I was 8 months pregnant and I went to watch my brother-in-law's band and I had a really bad headache when I left. I don't like it. But anyway, so but the Derrick Callella that band, you know, Tommaso's band, I mean there are clips of what them playing. I don't know, I know there's at least one, but I don't know if that it doesn't seem as extreme as Derrick's music. But it is all the same, scene as far as the types of people that they're hanging out with when they're gathering for these events like at Club Congress and the other Flycatcher and all those places. So, you know, that in itself, whatever. Okay. If you want to go and be a Satanist, whatever. you know, that's your right, I guess. Um, believe what you want to believe. Because I have beliefs that most people don't know. If they knew, when they find out, they think I'm a Satanist, which I am not. Um, it's a connection with the spirit world, but I'm not even gonna go down that rabbit hole. Um, but so whatever, the music creeps me out, but that doesn't mean, that they were involved in Nancy's abduction. However, I do feel that they were at the very least, I feel they were acquaintances that they had met before, even if it was years ago, even if it was 2017, 2016. Um, and I feel that way just because my brother-in-law does have a band, and I know that he knows people in other bands, especially these people that they've been doing this for so long, going back to 2016 and 2015 and, you know, whenever it is that Tommaso got in the band and whenever it is that Derrick, started his music. Um yeah, it is. The occult is huge. They throw everything gets thrown into that word, you know. If it's the occult, it's evil. Well, that's not true. Um but some stuff, of course, is much worse than others. Now, everybody goes around saying, like, well, Annie is Wiccan. Well, being a Wiccan is not a horrible thing. Being a black witch is. There are different things here that people don't know the differences. Um, so if you're not educated on all of that, then you're not gonna. Being Wiccan is, it's being, there's Wiccans and then there's pagan. It is nature based spirituality. Um, and of course, people want to fill in all of the gaps because we don't know so many things. Because it's not law enforcement is not sharing. And I know that's how the FBI operates. Hopefully they're getting closer. Um, Even that, I've listened to podcasts about, not about satanic worship, but it was part of it. There's the Lights Out podcast. It's about true crime, but they also they'll talk about different things where people have been murdered by someone who was a Satanist or one of that type of thing. So it's like a combo. They cover some paranormal stuff. A lot of it's true crime. I love the Lights Out podcast. I love his voice anyway. And his wife, they have multiple podcasts. Um, it's their full-time job. So I've heard them talking about it, and I've heard debates about, oh, it's not what people think it is, et cetera, et cetera. But I don't really want to go digging into, you know, I don't want to dig that far into what satanic worship is. It's just something I just don't want to do. But I have heard things discussed, by different people where I go, oh, well, maybe it's, you know, is portrayed in a certain way. I don't know. I don't do it. If people aren't hurting other people, whatever. Do your own thing, people. If it's not affecting me and you're not hurting other people, okay, fine. Um, from the looks of it, Derrick is involved in some pretty weird stuff. Um, and if he's a drug addict, that might explain why some of it's so strange. I don't know. But I do think that there is a connection. I think he knew at least Tommaso or knew of him. Not saying they were, best friends or anything like that, but I do think they were connected through the band scene. In the very least. I don't know about Annie, but at least Tommaso. But we'll have to wait and see what happens September 10th, and if anything else comes out of this, it'll be interesting to kind of wait and find out. You know, it seems like we get little bits and pieces of things or certain people. Derrick Callella, Luke Daly, Carlos. You know, nobody's talking about Dominic Evans anymore, who was Tommaso's bandmate. And I still even have him on the back burner. Does the date get extended? The date for what? You mean Derrick Callella, September 10th? Is that what date you're talking about? I don't think so. I mean, I guess they can do whatever they want if they're the feds or the district attorney. Well, yeah, they could reschedule it if they had to. Um and I'm still really curious about Luke cuz my personal opinion is that he is the porch guy. I just got all my check marks for that. Um just cuz I think there's multiple people. But we'll have to wait and see because at this point we don't know. So anyway, I'm gonna get off of here. It's 11:30 here. Um, and it takes me a while to relax after I do my lives because I get like wound up and stuff. So anyway, if you want to check out more and dig deeper down that rabbit hole, feel free to do that on Monk's Intrigue or Sleuth Intuition. You can find plenty more info there about um, Derrick and the whole band scene and everybody involved in that. There's pictures, videos, the whole thing. Um, it Ashley, it's late. It's my bedtime. Well, it's earlier for you than it is for me, but I always have to wind down. So anyhow, that is our little chat tonight on Derrick, and we'll catch you on the next one, guys, on Crime After Dark headquarters. Thanks everybody for tuning in, chatting. I appreciate you all. Thank you all for coming. Nah, I'm a mini sleuth. I can't even compare to monks or sleuth intuition or some of the other people. But thanks guys, you take care and we'll see you again.